Look at this heap of junk. You actually expect to drive that rust bucket?
It gets me where I need to go, sir.
My Ferrari against your trash. I challenge you to a race right now.
You can have my company if you beat me in a race. Those were the exact words that left Damon Cole's mouth as he stood in front of his shining red sports car, surrounded by foreign investors and curious employees. He wasn't joking. He said it loudly, proudly, and with full confidence while pointing at an old battered 1930 sedan owned by a quiet cleaner named Martin Blake. All because that embarrassing old car was parked in his special space. In seconds, a simple parking issue turned into a dangerous public challenge. A powerful CEO, a humble janitor, a flashy sports car, and a rusty sedan, with an entire company placed on the line for a race across the parking lot. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop your country in the comment below and please like the video. Thank you. Now let's continue. Damon Cole lived for attention. He didn't just own a company. He owned the spotlight around it. His bright red sports car, a sleek, roaring machine, was part of his identity. When he pulled into the executive lot each morning, people noticed. Workers looked up from their phones. Security guards straightened. Visitors nudged each other and whispered. That car told everyone, the boss has arrived. One hot afternoon, though, as Damon walked out with a group of foreign investors, something broke his routine. His special parking space, the one everyone knew belonged to him, was already taken. Sitting right there in the middle of his marked spot was an ancient 1930 sedan. Its paint was dull, its doors misaligned, its body dented and scratched. It looked like it had survived 3 different decades and given up on impressing anyone. The investors slowed. One of them frowned. "Who left that old thing there?" he asked. Damon's jaw tightened. Heat rose from the asphalt, and the air smelled of hot metal and faint fuel. A few employees nearby paused, watching cautiously, sensing that something was about to happen. From the far end of the lot, a slim older man started walking toward the car. His overalls marked him as one of the cleaning staff. His hair was graying, his shoulders a little bent from years of work nobody really talked about. His name was Martin Blake. He held a ring of keys that jingled softly against his leg as he walked. He wasn't rushing. His steps were steady and used to being ignored. He reached the old car and wiped his hands on a small towel before unlocking the door. Damon stepped forward. "You parked here." His voice was firm and sharp. Martin looked up, surprised just for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, sir. All the other slots were full. This was the only empty one." Damon gave a short, cold laugh. The investors watched, some amused, some uncomfortable. "You really thought it was a good idea," Damon said slowly, "to park this thing next to my car?" In that space, phones began to lift. A couple of employees started recording, pretending not to be obvious. Moments like this usually turned into gossip later. Martin didn't look threatened. He pushed his glasses up his nose and glanced at the faded hood of his sedan. "It was the only free space," he said simply. His voice wasn't rude. It wasn't apologetic either. It was calm. That calm annoyed Damon even more. He liked it when people scrambled in front of him, when they tripped over apologies and rushed to fix any mistake that bothered him. But this man wasn't scrambling. He was just standing there. "You know who I am?" Damon asked. "Yes," Martin replied. "You run this place. But that doesn't make more parking spots appear." Behind them, the small crowd of employees grew thicker. Some tried to hide their interest. Others didn't bother. "He's really talking back," someone whispered. "He's finished," another muttered. Damon rolled his shoulders, then glanced at his investors. He could feel their eyes on him, waiting to see how he handled this small disrespect. "This is interesting," Damon said loudly, forcing a smile. "You park that relic like it belongs beside my car. Let's test that confidence." He pointed at his shiny red sports car, then at the battered sedan. "Let's race," he announced. From this end of the lot to the far gate and back. If that old car of yours beats mine, you can have my company. Gasps rippled through the group. It sounded like a joke, except his tone wasn't playful. It was sharp, proud, and carried the weight of someone used to getting his way. Few people laughed nervously. No way he means that. He actually said it. Phones tilted higher, recording every word. Martin stared at Damon for a long second, watching his face, searching his eyes. Then he looked at the old car again, its cracked mirror, worn tires, and thin layer of dust. You want to race over a parking space? Martin asked quietly. No, Damon said. I want to show what real power looks like. These gentlemen came to see how we operate. They might as well see that I don't back down. He patted the hood of his car like it was a living thing. Your decision, he added, almost casually. The air felt heavier. The crowd around them fell quiet, listening. Martin drew in a slow breath. You're sure about what you said? He asked. If my car gets back first, I get the company. Damon smirked. You won't. But yes, I'm sure. Martin gave a small shrug, not dramatic at all. Then I don't see any reason to refuse, he replied. The news flew through the building. By the time both cars moved to the far end of the lot, a stream of employees and visitors had followed, some jogging, some walking fast so they wouldn't miss the show. He challenged the cleaner to a race. He put the whole company on the line. That old car is going to fall apart before they even start. At the starting point, Martin opened his hood. The hinge squeaked like an old door. A weak smell of aged gasoline floated out. He checked a belt, tightened something with his fingers, and pressed a loose latch into place. His movements were quick but practiced, like someone who had fixed the same car over and over, quietly without help. On the other side, Damon walked around his sports car, turning it into a presentation. This is our company in a nutshell, he told the investors. Fast, advanced, unbeatable. He ran his hand along the car's body, making sure the cameras got a clear shot. People murmured with admiration, their eyes moving from the shiny paint to the expensive wheels. Martin closed the hood and cleaned a small streak from the windshield with his towel. Didn't expect so many people for a short drive, he said under his breath. An employee nearby laughed cruelly. This is going to be the fastest defeat of his life. Damon smirked and slid into the driver's seat. He started the car. The engine roared aggressively, vibrating through the concrete. Several people flinched. Martin got into his sedan and adjusted the seat slowly. He rested his hands on the steering wheel and stared straight ahead. No revving. No show. A supervisor stepped forward, lifting her arm. All right, she called out. On my signal. The crowd pressed closer but stayed behind an imaginary line. Sweat gathered on foreheads. The sun beat down hard. Damon revved his engine again just to remind everyone how loud and powerful it was. Martin didn't move. He breathed out once, slow and steady. 3, 2, 1, go. Damon shot forward. Tires screeched, smoke puffed from the back wheels, and the car flew down the lot like a bolt of red lightning. People cheered. Some whistled. Martin's car moved off the line gently. No screech. No smoke. It rolled forward at a steady, almost lazy speed. Few people burst out laughing. He's not even trying. This is embarrassing. Martin didn't look at them. He kept his eyes on the lane, hands firm and relaxed. The car hummed along, engine low and rough but consistent. Down the straight stretch, Damon's car devoured the distance. He could feel the power in the wheel, in the response of the engine. He imagined how this would look on video. The poor old cleaner left in the dust, the boss returning like a champion. He could almost hear the comments already. Then the sound changed. The clean roar of the engine stuttered. Warning lights flickered on his dashboard. The car gave a short, violent jerk. Damon frowned and pressed the pedal harder. Engine coughed. A rough grinding sound echoed through the cabin. Another warning light flashed. Then another. A hot metallic smell spread through the air vents. "Come on," he muttered. He tried again. The car lunged forward a bit, then shuddered. Everything cut out in an instant. The engine went dead. The steering turned heavy. The car rolled a few meters and stopped in the middle of the lane, silent and useless. Behind him, the hum of Martin's old engine got louder. Employees jogging along the side slowed, then stopped. "Is the sports car dead?" "No way. Not now." Martin's sedan approached, rattling slightly over the cracks in the pavement. The sun hit its faded trim, making it gleam faintly. Martin slowed and pulled up beside Damon's stopped car. He rolled down his window. "Need a lift?" he asked, voice calm as ever. Damon felt his face burn. His throat tightened. Cameras were getting closer. The investors were catching up. The workers had their phones raised, capturing every second. "You're joking," Damon said. Martin leaned over and unlocked the passenger door. The soft click seemed louder than the murmurs around them. "You said the race ends at the starting point," Martin reminded him. "We're not there yet. Still want to see it through." The crowd had now gathered fully. People surrounded the stalled sports car, and all eyes were on Damon. Some looked stunned. Some looked almost pleased. Others looked uneasy, like they were watching a slow, painful accident. One investor stood still, arms folded, face stiff. "This is not good," he muttered to someone next to him. Damon's words from earlier echoed in the air and in every recording. "If that old car beats me, you can have my company." He wanted to shout that the race was off. That mechanical problems didn't count. That this wasn't fair. But he knew how weak that would sound. Everyone would hear it as an excuse. Everyone already did. With no good way out, Damon opened the sedan's passenger door and got in. The same car he had insulted was now the only way to finish the race. Martin didn't look at him. He put the car in gear and rolled forward. The crowd parted as the old sedan moved, carrying both men side by side. Phones followed them, capturing every second. The humiliation didn't need commentary. The image spoke for itself. He's actually riding with him. After everything he said. Martin drove steadily, not speeding, not dragging. Just moving. The engine hummed, rough but reliable. For the first time that day, Damon was silent. No bragging. No mocking. No explanations. Just the soft creak of the old car and the heavy weight of his own pride. They crossed the finish line. No cheers. Just a strange quiet. The sedan stopped. The crowd closed in. Cameras zoomed in on the passenger door. People leaned forward. The door opened. Damon stepped out slowly. His face was pale, his shirt damp with sweat. He looked smaller than he had at the start of the afternoon. "He lost his own challenge," someone whispered. "He got carried over the line," another said. Martin got out from his side, stretching a little. He didn't raise his hands. He didn't grin. He just stood there, wiping his palms on his towel. Damon tried to regain control. "Everyone, let me be clear," he said, voice shaking slightly. "This isn't how it looks." The car had a mechanical failure. This wasn't a fair comparison. That offer was just. A young employee near the front stopped him, speaking clearly. "You said if his car beat yours, the company would be his," she said. "We all heard it. It's on half our phones." Murmurs of agreement rose. The investors stepped closer. So did two board members who had arrived quietly during the commotion. One of them spoke, tone calm but cold. "Damon, you publicly mocked an employee, turned this into a performance in front of guests, and put the company's image at risk. Whether or not you meant your words, they were spoken loudly, and they are recorded." Another board member added, "This is already circulating online. This doesn't just look reckless. It looks cruel." Damon's mouth opened and closed. He looked as if he wanted to argue, but the crowd's eyes held him in place. Martin finally stepped forward. "I didn't race for your company," he said simply. "I'm not here to take what you built. You challenged me. Accepted. I just finished what you started. A wave of quiet surprise passed through the crowd. He's not even taking the company. He's different. He's not like him. Damon blinked, almost confused by the mercy. The board members exchanged a look. We'll be discussing your behavior, Damon, the chairwoman said. Expect a formal meeting. Suspension is on the table. So is a full review of your position. The words hit harder than any engine failure. Damon knew that even if he kept his title, his image inside the company had cracked in front of everyone. The employees began to drift back toward the building, still recording, still talking. I can't believe I just saw that. That video is going to explode online. Serves him right. Martin didn't linger in the center. He walked back to his old sedan, running a hand along its roof gently. He checked the door, brushed some dirt off the seat, and got ready to leave. A few workers approached him. You handled all of that with so much calm, one said. I respect you a lot for that. Martin gave a small nod. No need to shout, he replied. The situation already spoke loud enough. Just as he was about to start the car, the chairwoman of the board stepped up to his window. Mr. Blake, she said, and this time there was real respect in her voice. We watched how you carried yourself today. No anger, no revenge, just self-control and dignity. That's the kind of example this company desperately needs. He looked at her, puzzled. What are you asking? He said. If you're open to it, she answered. We'd like you to work with us on improving how people here treat one another. Training, feedback, guidance. You see things from a level most of us ignore. We need that truth. Martin thought for a moment. If it helps people remember that respect doesn't depend on job titles, he said slowly, then I'll help. She nodded. We'll talk soon, she promised. Martin started the engine. The old sedan came alive again with its familiar uneven hum. He pulled out of the lot, leaving behind a building full of shaken egos, nervous leaders, and employees who had just watched a silent lesson in real character. Over the next few days, the video spread online. People watched it again and again. The proud boss boasting, the cleaner staying calm, the shiny car dying, the old sedan rolling on, and that unforgettable moment when the arrogant man sat in the passenger seat of the car he had mocked. What caught people was not just the breakdown. It was the role reversal. The man with money and status had everything, until his engine failed. The man with no rank had nothing fancy, except reliability, patience, and self-respect. In the end, it wasn't the loudest voice that won. It wasn't the fastest car. It was the person who stayed steady when everything around him tried to turn him into a joke. The quiet truth of the story was simple. Pride burns out fast. Character keeps going. If this story touched you even a little, please don't just scroll away. Take 1 second to hit subscribe to Echoes of Life Stories. Your support helps us keep bringing you more real, emotional, humbling stories where pride falls, character rises, and ordinary people teach powerful lessons. Every like, every comment, every subscription tells us, keep going, we're listening. So please, subscribe to Echoes of Life Stories. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Share this video with someone who needs this reminder today. Thank you for watching, thank you for staying till the end, and thank you for standing with Echoes of Life Stories. Your little click means more than you know.